Hey guys, how is it going? So this is going to be one of my first baking videos on my channel, and I want to make one of my favorite cookie recipes, and that is Sally's chewy chocolate chip recipes. I've also made the brown, the sugar, I think it's the sugary brown ones as well from Sally's Baking. Those are also phenomenal, but I have made these chewy chocolate chip ones 4 or 5 times now, and they are phenomenal. They're very easy to do. So I want to go over my baking process, how I do it, and just kind of show you that in depth. So we already have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm just using some great value unbleached flour. I use my scale. So I have a really nice scale right here. It's an Omacor. It's meant as more of like a coffee scale is what I use it for my espresso machine. But it works really well as a food scale as well for smaller stuff. So what I do is I normally will just put my my KitchenAid bowl on here. I'll tare it, and then I'll just put my flour in. So right now, obviously, it's not going to measure properly because I took it off and all that. But we have our flour in there. The next thing we're going to do is put our cornstarch, or I'm sorry, our baking soda in here. So I have just pure baking soda. This calls for 1 teaspoon. So we're just going to do 1 teaspoon of baking soda, which that is leveled off right there. So we got a teaspoon of baking soda. You do want to take your butter out as well. We're going to melt it, so it doesn't necessarily have to be like sitting out at room temp, but I already have my butter out. So we got the flour, the baking soda. We're going to do cornstarch next, which is right here. And for cornstarch, we need 1 1/2 teaspoons of cornstarch. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon here of cornstarch. And I really, these cookies, man, they're good. I've made them for a bunch of people now. I've taken them to parties, and they are definitely a favorite. The other thing last time I did, so there's our 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, and then we also need another 1/2 teaspoon. So do another 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch, and you don't want to use too much cornstarch because it could add a weird texture to the cookies if you use too much of it. So we got that in there, and then we also want to do our salt. So this calls for half a teaspoon of salt. And the butter I do have, I believe it is salted butter. I believe this recipe does call for unsalted butter. Personally, I don't see a huge difference because I've used both. I don't see a huge difference when I use either one of them. And then basically we have those together. We're just going to mix this up. It does say whisk, so I have a whisk. Just easy to sometimes just use what the tools you have in your hand. So just get this decently mixed together. All right, we'll call that good enough. We're gonna set that aside. We're gonna get our big bowl here. And in this medium bowl, we're gonna melt our butter. It's gonna be brown sugar, granulated sugar, but we wanna mix the melted butter, brown sugar, and the granulated sugar together and get that into like a nice consistency. So again, I personally like using a scale when I'm baking. It makes it a lot easier than having to use a cup, measurement cups. And it also personally is a lot more accurate, I believe, too, for me, I think anyways. Some bakers can like instantly just know how much they've poured in. I am not one of those people. I like to precisely measure everything out. So this is carrying for light or dark brown sugar, 150 grams. So we're going to keep an eye down here. We'll keep going at 130. I'm getting close. There we are, 154. I'm going to take a little bit of that out. 150, right on the dot right there. So we will leave that at 150. If I can get this back in there. There we go. And then we want also granulated sugar. We need 100 grams of granulated sugar. So what I'll do is I'll tear this out. It'll go back to 0. We will get our granulated sugar, my baker's sugar. Let me tear this out again just to make sure it's tearing properly. Okay. So we're going to do 100 grams of granulated sugar, which is roughly half a cup. Dude, this is a lot. When you bake, you're like, oh my God, there really is a lot of sugar and stuff in these recipes. I'm going slowly here, just so we're close. All right, there's 100.3 grams. So right on the dot. Next thing we want to do is melt our butter. That's going to be the next thing. So I'm going to get the butter here. This recipe calls for 3/4 a cup, basically 12 tablespoons. So we have this here. This is 12 tablespoons of butter. So we're going to put this in a big bowl, and I'm just going to melt this down. I'm just going to use one of my glass bowls. Now, some recipes, keep in mind, they will not call for melted butter. This one specifically calls for melted butter. And what that does, it gives the cookies a nice, soft, chewy texture. It does not make them too oily, which is nice. Sometimes it'll be too oily when these recipes are like this, and it's just kind of ew, nasty. But we're gonna put that in there. We're gonna nuke it for probably 30 to 50 seconds, in that range. So we have our melted butter here. It's still a little clumpy, but that will melt down. That is completely fine. So we have that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mix that into our brown sugar. We're going to whisk the brown sugar, the regular granulated sugar, or baker's sugar, and the butter together until it's a nice consistency. Then we'll get our eggs in there as well, which I actually will prepare our eggs before I do that. So this recipe, we do need 1 large egg and then just 1 egg yolk at room temp, which I have not taken out of the fridge yet. But that is fine. I'm not super picky on this stuff. I personally don't see it make a huge difference. But the recipe does call to leave this out at room temp before you crack these and mix them in. But we'll be all right. So I'm going to put, and these are just grade A large eggs. We'll get another bowl out, and I will crack them into here. So our trick is, what we want to do is we're going to crack one of these eggs into here. We got most of the yolk separated out. I'm going to do that one more time. Oh, lost a little bit. And we'll put that one in there. Throw those in the garbage disposal because that works for me. All right, so we're not putting these in the mixture yet. We're just going to set them aside. I'm going to put our melted butter in with, let me get my little spatula out of here. So in these cookies, they are just chocolate chip cookies. Last time I made these, I did put roasted pecans in them. I had some pecans that I roasted in my oven for about 5 minutes and just gave like a nice little brown to them. And I chopped them up really small and I put them in the cookies. I'm not doing that this time, but I'm saying if you like pecans and you want to add something to this recipe to make it a little different, pecans are a great option. It tastes phenomenal, and it was, in my opinion, a great addition to the cookies. I'm just going to do chocolate this time, though. My wife loves these, and I also love them, and I'm just going to put all of this in here, and we're going to get all the butter out that we possibly can. All right, so we're gonna raise our bowl, our mixer here, and we're just gonna whisk this up, get it nice and combined. We will then add our egg and our vanilla extract to the recipe. We just want to get this nice and whisked up first, and we'll go from there. You can see it's combining. It's going to be loose. It's going to be oily. That's kind of normal at this point. So we want this not to be super lumpy, which it is pretty much at that point. When you turn it off, it is pretty smooth. So we'll call that good. We're going to put our egg in here. Remember our 1 full egg and then our egg yolk. And then the next thing we're going to do is add our vanilla extract, which I have not taken out. So we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I imagine you also could use almond extract if you wanted to, but I do have vanilla extract right here. So like I said, 2 teaspoons. So we're going to do 1. And personally, I'm a big vanilla person, so even if you go a little tad over 2 teaspoons, doesn't really hurt unless you add too much, then it will. But put that there. And we're going to whisk this together now. And you want to just let this whisk, make it nice and creamy, let everything combine in there. You don't want to over whip it because there is egg in there, but you do want to let it get nice and combined, get a nice, real nice texture to it. So like if I go in here and kind of mess with this, it should be very loose and kind of creamy, a very creamy texture. It's going to feel a little gritty. That's normal because there's a ton of sugar in there. But you know, we'll let that go for another probably 15 to 30 seconds, and I'll just let it give it a little more time. Now our next step, while that's going, is we want to mix the rest of the dry ingredients together. So we have everything in here that we need. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump all the dry ingredients in. We're going to get these mixed and pretty combined, and then we'll mix in the chocolate chips. Now, a lot of the recipes say that you have to fold in the chocolate chips, basically take the dough and like fold them on top. But I personally have had very good luck mixing the dry ingredients together with the mixture we have here, and then mixing in the chocolate chips with the stand mixer. I think it does a really good job. Never had an issue with it, so that's kind of how I like to do it. But we'll start to pour in our dry ingredients from our bowl. Pretty much all of it. And this will take a couple minutes. Sometimes it's pretty quick. I like to let it get combined before I will turn the speed up. Like I might turn it up 1 notch, but you don't want to go too high and throw your flour everywhere. So that'd be my last thing I would really want to do. But I'll let this get mixed up good and well. I'm going to scrape off all the extra flour that got stuck up on the top of the whisk here. And then we'll let that ride out for a minute or two. And you can already see the texture of everything is coming together nicely. What I also like to do is just come in, scrape the bowl a little bit, and get that just pushed down. You don't have to, because these KitchenAids do a pretty good job of getting the sides, but just to get that little excess off, it does not hurt. And we're going to measure out our chocolate chips as well. So for this recipe, we are going to need 225 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips or chunks. That's roughly about 1.25 cups. Of course, we're going to use the scale for this. So I do have a couple different types of chocolate chips over here. So we have some semi-sweets. I also have some chunks here. These are just like, I'm going to actually try these because I've always done it with just normal chocolate chips. But I do have a couple bags over here of chocolate chips, but I'm going to try out these chunks today. This is 283 grams of chocolate chunks. So we should use about 3/4-ish of the bag. That's normally about what it works out to. I'm going to put my bowl here. Of course, we're going to measure it out. And I want to get this precise because it does definitely help. We're going to turn the mixer off because that dough is looking quite good. Or not dough, but cookie batter is looking quite good. Let's see how these chocolate chunks look. Those are very good. All right, so 225 grams. Which is a lot, but it's what you need for this. 226, we will leave it at that. And look at that, pretty much 3/4, if not a little bit more than 3/4 of the bag is used for this. So it's a lot of chocolate chips. those are some good chocolate chips though. All right, so we're gonna put the mixer on slow, and we're gonna slowly dump these in. We will let them get incorporated into the mixture. You can see the mixers might be not 100% happy with it, but that's fine. All right. And we don't need to let this go super, super long, just enough to let them get mixed in there. All right, and that's good enough. So here's the thing with this batter. It needs to rest. You cannot just immediately make cookies out of this. It is too loose. So it is best to let this rest at least 2 hours. You can't, the recipe says you can go up to 3 days. I've personally done like 2 hours, and I've done like 5 hours before. I didn't notice a difference between like going from 2 hours to 5 hours, but you 100% cannot immediately make these cookies like this because this dough is extremely loose. You have to remember the amount of butter in this, and that amount of butter that went into this is what makes it super loose. So when you chill this dough for a couple hours, it will 100% get nice and hard, and then you can actually shape them into cookie balls, or measure them out however you want to do it, and you can, you know, get a good, really good texture on these things. They come out phenomenal. They taste really good. All right, so for covering this, you can use aluminum foil. That's probably actually what I'm going to use on this time. I usually use saran wrap, but aluminum foil will work good, especially on these metal bowls. I've obviously dirtied a lot of bowls during this whole process of baking these, so where I can save some time of getting more bowls dirty is just throwing this guy on there. It doesn't have to be tightly wrapped, but do this. I will throw her in the fridge for a couple hours, and then we will come back, get them all separated, and we'll cook some cookies. All right, so we are completely done with the cookies. We've chilled for about 3.5 hours. We scooped some out. Just use a little ice cream scoop here, and we got them laid out on my Pampered Chef cooking stone. And we got the oven preheated to 325 on the cookie setting. If you don't have cookie setting, you can just do 325 in convection if you have it. And we're gonna put them in there for about 12 minutes, and then they'll be all done. All right, we got the cookies in the oven, and they'll be in there for another 10 minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is 12 minutes after being in the oven on convection. Took them out. They look delicious. We got this big chunky chocolate chips up there. Generally speaking, these do brown a little bit more, but I promise you, don't let them get any darker than this, but they do brown a little bit. But the nice thing is with these, when they cool, they tend to have a little bit of a crispier outside, not like really hard, but just like enough, and then the insides tend to be super moist and chewy, which is really nice. So we will wait for these to cool. It takes a while. If you cook these on something else, you can cook them on a cooking sheet, metal, whatnot. I really prefer these Pampered Chef pans because they cook very evenly and they distribute heat well, and they cook the bottoms perfectly. So this is what I tend to cook most of my cookies and baked goods and that sort of thing on. All right, guys, so I want to do a final clip of this video. So these are the cookies. They've rested for basically overnight. It's now the morning, but they came out super nice, and look how nice and chewy. Nice little crispy outside to them, not much, but the inside super gooey and chewy. These things are phenomenal. They pretty much put any cookie that you can buy in the store to shame. And if you cook these for anyone in your family or friends or just you will not be disappointed by any means. These, I don't think I let them sit in the fridge long enough because they came out pretty flat, but that also could have been due to the fact I used really chunky chocolate chips in this. But regardless, phenomenal. I still have the rest of the batter that I did make. I only made 6 of these. I have the rest of the batter in the fridge, so I plan on just putting the rest of those into balls today and then probably freezing some of them. But if you guys want some delicious chocolate chip cookies, definitely follow this recipe. Thank you for watching.